Picture a massive aircraft carrier, a floating fortress worth billions, slicing through the ocean with effortless power. Its deck is a hive of activity, bristling with fighter jets, helicopters, and a crew that numbers in the thousands. This ship is the pride of any navy, a symbol of national strength and technological might, projecting power across the globe. Thousands of sailors trust in its power, believing it's nearly invincible. They train relentlessly, confident that their ship can withstand almost any threat the sea can throw at them. But then, in the midst of routine, a tiny blip appears on the radar. Fast, small, and closing in with alarming speed. It's easy to miss, but it's a warning that danger is never far away. It's not another ship or a bomber. It's a missile, launched from miles away, maybe even from a hidden truck on shore, or a stealthy submarine lurking beneath the waves. The threat can come from anywhere, at any time. In just minutes, that missile could turn the world's most advanced warship into a burning wreck, leaving chaos and destruction in its wake. This is the reality of modern naval warfare, a world where technology and tactics are in a constant race for survival. The anti-ship missile is the great equalizer, letting even small navies threaten superpowers. Suddenly, a tiny patrol boat or a disguised truck can challenge the mightiest fleets. All the guns, jets, and armor in the world mean little if a single missile gets through. One well-placed shot can change the course of a battle, or even a war. It's the ultimate David and Goliath story. One missile versus a billion-dollar ship. The odds have shifted, and size no longer guarantees safety. This threat keeps admirals awake at night, forcing them to rethink every strategy and every move. The genius of the anti-ship missile is its simplicity. Fire and forget. Once launched, it needs no further guidance, making it a relentless hunter. Launch it, and it does the rest, skimming the waves, dodging radar, weaving past defenses, then striking at supersonic speed with pinpoint accuracy. The explosion can cripple or sink even the largest vessels, leaving survivors scrambling and fleets reeling from the loss. Aircraft carriers are symbols of power, but missiles expose their vulnerability. No matter how advanced, they are not untouchable. For all their might, they're still just big metal boxes on water, huge targets for a determined enemy. A well-aimed missile can turn that box into a coffin, ending decades of engineering in a single, fiery moment. This threat has forced navies to rethink everything, from ship design to battle tactics. New defenses, new strategies, and constant innovation are now essential for survival. The anti-ship missile isn't going away. In fact, it's only getting smarter, faster, and harder to stop. It's changed the rules of the game forever, forcing navies to adapt or risk annihilation. In the age of missiles, no ship is truly safe. Every voyage is a test of vigilance and technology. The ocean's new king is small, fast, and deadly, a reminder that in modern warfare, even giants must fear the slingshot. For centuries, naval power was defined by the might of massive ships bristling with enormous guns. These steel giants dominated the oceans, their presence alone a symbol of national strength and technological prowess. Battleships ruled the waves, engaging in thunderous duels and slugging it out with massive shells that could devastate enemy fleets in a single broadside. But everything changed with the outbreak of World War II. The arrival of the aircraft carrier marked a turning point in naval history, forever altering the balance of power at sea. Suddenly, it was planes, not guns, that decided the fate of battles, striking from hundreds of miles away and rendering traditional naval tactics obsolete almost overnight. Legendary battleships like the Bismarck and Yamato, once considered invincible, found themselves vulnerable and outdated in the face of air power. Yet, even the mighty aircraft carrier had its limitations. Planes and their pilots still had to brave enemy fire, risking lives with every mission. Navies around the world began searching for a new kind of weapon, one that could strike from afar, with precision, and without endangering human pilots. Enter the guided missile. The Germans experimented with early versions of these weapons during World War II, but it was during the Cold War that guided missiles truly came into their own, transforming naval warfare. Now, a small, unmanned, jet-powered weapon could streak over the horizon and sink a ship with deadly accuracy. No pilots required, no warning given. Suddenly, even a small patrol boat armed with the right missile could destroy a giant warship, leveling the playing field in ways never before imagined. The entire philosophy of naval warfare was flipped on its head. Size and armor no longer guaranteed safety or supremacy. The guided missile made every ship, no matter how small, a potential giant killer, capable of changing the outcome of a battle in an instant. The age of the missile had truly begun, ushering in a new era of naval strategy and technology. From that moment on, navies around the world would never fight the same way again. The rules of engagement had changed forever. The revolution at sea was unstoppable, reshaping the future of maritime warfare for generations to come. During the Cold War, the US and Soviet Union raced to outdo each other. While the world watched nuclear arms, the Soviets quietly perfected anti-ship missiles. They couldn't match America's carrier fleet, so they chose a different path. Missiles, Soviet missile boats, cruisers, and submarines were all designed to unleash waves of missiles at US carriers. The plan overwhelmed defenses with sheer numbers. Even if some missiles were shot down, a few would get through, and that's all it took. This strategy shocked Western navies. Suddenly, carriers looked vulnerable, not invincible. The Soviets had found a way to threaten the world's most powerful navy without a single gun duel. The age of the anti-ship missile had arrived. The balance of naval power shifted overnight. No fleet could ignore the missile threat again. The true power of the anti-ship missile was revealed to the world in 1967, forever changing naval warfare. The Israeli destroyer INS Eilat, while patrolling off the coast of Egypt, was suddenly targeted and struck by 4 Soviet-made Styx missiles. These deadly weapons were launched from small, almost unremarkable Egyptian missile boats. The crew of the Eilat never saw the attack coming. There was no warning, no time to react, just a sudden devastating assault from beyond the horizon. Explosions ripped through the ship's hull. Fires erupted everywhere, and within minutes, the proud destroyer was sinking beneath the waves. 47 sailors lost their lives in the chaos and destruction. This was the first time in history that a guided missile had successfully sunk a warship during combat, marking a turning point in naval history. The world's navies took notice. Suddenly, a small, inexpensive missile boat could destroy a much larger and more powerful warship with ease. In response, navies around the globe scrambled to develop new defensive systems, countermeasures, and tactics to protect their fleets from this new threat. The psychological impact was enormous. Warships, once considered floating fortresses, were now vulnerable targets, always at risk from unseen missile attacks. Naval combat was transformed into a high-stakes game of electronic warfare, rapid detection, and split-second decision-making. Could you spot the incoming missile in time? Could your ship's defenses react fast enough to stop it before disaster struck? The tragedy of the Eilat proved a harsh lesson. If you couldn't, your ship, and your crew, were doomed. The anti-ship missile had changed everything about naval warfare, forcing a complete rethink of strategy and ship design. The era of the big gun battleship was over. The missile now ruled the seas. The Falklands War in 1982 made the anti-ship missile infamous. The British Royal Navy, one of the world's best, faced Argentine Exocet missiles. On May 4th, an Exocet struck HMS Sheffield. The missile didn't even explode, but its fuel started a deadly fire. 20 sailors died, and the ship was lost. Another Exocet hit the Atlantic conveyor, destroying vital supplies. These attacks forced the British to change tactics, keeping carriers far from danger. The fear of a single missile dictated strategy. The Exocet proved that even the most advanced navy was just one missile away from disaster. The missile's legend was sealed. Navies everywhere took notice. The rules of naval warfare had changed for good. No ship was safe. For sailors, the missile threat is personal and constant. One moment, life is routine. The next, alarms blare. Vampire, vampire, signaling an incoming missile. The pressure is immense. Spot the threat, react instantly, or risk disaster. Even perfect training offers no guarantees. The Iran-Iraq War and incidents like the USS Stark showed how quickly things can go wrong. Sailors live in a state of high alert, knowing a single mistake can be fatal. Endless drills and damage control become second nature. The threat shapes shipboard culture, forging camaraderie but also anxiety. Every sailor knows their ship is a target. The psychological toll is real. The fear is unspoken, but ever present. Life at sea is living under the missile's shadow. It's the new reality of naval warfare. Navies haven't given up. They've built layered defenses to stop missiles. First, ships try to stay hidden with stealthy designs and radar-absorbing paint. Next, electronic warfare jamming signals and chaff to confuse incoming missiles. If that fails, defensive missiles like Sea Sparrow try to shoot threats down. The last line is the close-in weapon system, a computer-controlled Gatling gun that fires thousands of rounds a minute. The American phalanx, nicknamed R2-D2, is famous for this. If you hear it firing, a missile is seconds from impact. It's a desperate final defense. Every layer buys precious seconds, but no system is perfect. The battle between missile and defense is relentless. Despite all these defenses, no admiral feels safe. The arms race never ends. Newer, faster, smarter missiles keep emerging. Hypersonic missiles travel at 5 times the speed of sound, leaving almost no time to react. Some missiles are nearly invisible to radar. Others attack from multiple directions at once. The economics are daunting. A missile costs millions, a carrier costs billions. Even small nations or groups can now threaten the world's mightiest ships. The anti-ship missile shattered the illusion of invincibility. For every shield, a sharper sword appears. The fear these missiles inspire is as real today as ever. Naval warfare is forever changed. The ocean's deadliest threat is small, smart, and unstoppable.